Hello everyone. Today we've brought for you the FLT-16, which is our 16-channel fault annunciator. On the back side, you get 16 input channels, so you can define up to 16 different faults. Along with that, you also get two relay outputs. One relay can be used for alarm, and the second relay can be used for trip. So if any fault occurs in the field, the alarm relay can alert you, and the trip relay can isolate that section or stop equipment. On the front, you also get individual push buttons for test, reset, and mute. With these, you can simulate a fault and test the system, reset acknowledged faults, and mute the audible alarm right from the panel in the field. In addition, FLT-16 comes with Modbus communication. Using Modbus, you can monitor all faults from a BMS, PLC, HMI, or SCADA, and even integrate fault status with a central control room. Now let's talk about the wiring. On the back side, we've given line and neutral on terminals 1 and 2. From terminal 1, line, we have taken a loop to C1, which is the common for relay 1, alarm relay. From the NO, normally open, contact, we have taken a wire to N LED. So whenever relay 1 turns on, the LED will glow. The LED's neutral is connected back to terminal 2, neutral. To generate faults for demo, we've used two switches, one wired to F8 and one to F1. The common terminal for these fault switches is terminal 19, which is the input common for fault contacts. So whenever we operate these switches, we simulate a fault on those specific channels. On the front panel, to go inside the menu, we have a menu button at the left corner. When I press it, the display first asks for a password. Because this device is password protected, the default password is 25. After entering 25 and pressing enter, the main menu opens. Here, we get three main sections: fault config, profile, and settings. Let's start with fault config. Inside fault config, the first option is number of faults. Open this and you can decide how many faults you want to use. For example, if you only have 10 active faults in your system, you can clear the default and enter 10. Then, on the main window, only fault 1 to fault 10 will be displayed. Next option, fault type, NO, NC. Here you can define whether each fault input is N-type, NO, or NC-type contact. In our demo, we are using N-type switches, so whenever we press the switch, it creates an NC condition at the terminal and the annunciator detects a fault. If your field device gives no contacts, you can select NO type here for that channel. Next option, fault-wise history. You can view individual fault history. For example, if I select tank fill, I can see the timestamp of the last fault. Example, last fault occurred at 16:35. This helps you trace when each particular fault came. Next option, define fault name. Here you can edit the fault names displayed on the screen. For example, fault 1 tank fill, fault 2 fire break. You can type fire space break, press enter, and from now on fault 2 will be shown as fire break on the main window. There is also a last fault history page where you can see what the last fault in the system was. Next, we go to the profile menu. In profile settings, you can configure what should appear on the startup screen when the instrument powers on. You can set company name, address. Next, in the password security section, you can change the device password. If the current password is 25 and you want to change it to 45, you simply enter the new password and confirm it. From that point onwards, whenever you want to enter the main menu, you must enter 45. Now let's go to the settings menu. Here, first you'll find RTC settings, real-time clock. You can set the current date and time here. This is important because all fault histories will use this RTC for accurate timestamps. Communication protocols, Modbus. Here you can configure Modbus address 12127. Baud rate 9600 19200 38400. Parity, odd, none, or even. Stop bits 1 or 2. These settings must match your PLC BMS SCADA configuration for communication to work. Reset fault history. If you want to clear stored fault history, you can. Go to History Reset. Select All. Press Enter and then Yes. All stored fault entries will be cleared. The next option is Display Profile. FLT-16 supports two layout themes for how faults are shown on the screen. One layout shows the faults vertically. Another layout shows them as blocks, columns, example F1, F2, F3 and F4 on one page. You can choose whichever format is easier for your operator to read. Then we have Relay configuration. By default, Relay 1 is assigned for alarm. Relay 2 is assigned for trip. For Relay 1, you can choose blinking mode. The relay turns on and off repeatedly when a fault is active. Constant on or off. In our demo, we have kept Relay 1 in blink mode. So whenever a fault comes, the alarm relay will keep turning on and off, and the LED connected to it will also blink, attracting attention. Relay 2 can be used as a trip relay, wired to shut down critical equipment when certain fault conditions occur. Now let's see how faults are indicated on the screen. For example, we have set F1 is equal to tank fill. F2 is equal to fire brake. When a fault occurs, the corresponding window, say F1 or F2, will turn red. It will also blink, indicating an active fault in the field. The alarm relay will operate as per configuration. To mute the alarm, press and hold the mute button. Once muted, the fault window color changes to green. Green means fault occurred, but acknowledged. Field status is now healthy or acknowledged. To fully reset the fault, press and hold. Reset and confirm. After the reset, all the fault windows turn white, indicating no active fault in the system. If you do not want to come to the panel to mute, there is also an option to mute from the field. On the back side, we've provided terminals for a remote mute push button. You can connect an N-type, no, switch between the mute input and common. Operators in the field can then acknowledge or mute the alarm without going to the main panel. If you have, say, 10 fault channels configured, any one of them receiving a fault will immediately pop up on the first page of the screen so it is easily noticed. If you found this explanation useful, please like, share, and subscribe for more such industrial product walkthroughs. Thank you for watching.